Good morning, everyone. It's Mommy Guayo here, and today I'm going to give you a video about me. Okay, so I kind of want to do also some videos about like my childhood and things I went through and stuff like that, and I think maybe it'll help some people. And not only that, it'll also help you get to know me and get to know like why I'm who I am and why I do certain things. And honestly, it's changed everything. My parenting, my thought on life. I mean, you become who you are after all the things you've gone through, and it obviously sometimes changes you for the better or for the good. So in my situation, I feel like everything that has been handed to me, it's been changed for the better, but sometimes it's not that case. So I was born to young parents, very young parents. So not super young, like 14 or 13. But my dad was 17 when I was born, and my mom was 19. So they were 16 and 18 pregnant, okay? My mom and dad, they actually knew each other from grammar school. And the funny thing is, my mom hated my dad. Like, he was annoying. Obviously, he was younger than her. So she didn't really start catching an eye for him around till he was older. Now, my mom and dad, honestly, they really, really did love each other, I feel. But who would have known all the things that would have transpired from them being together, right? I always tell my mom this, thank God, because we're here, right? I have a sister. I have two siblings that are full siblings. So I have a sister and a brother. They were both, made for my father. So by the age of 24, my mother was a single mother with 3 children at 24 years old. I think of that so much. I think of how much that had changed our lives, how much we struggled because of that. So we did struggle financially, obviously, but there was programs out there, so she was getting some help from just like daycare. Something really, really amazing about my mom is that like she never was on welfare. And I'm on public aid, so I look at my mom and she's definitely an inspiration for me. But let's go back to me being young. So my mom and dad, they met in grammar school, and then they hooked up in high school. They were already engaged before I was born, so there was a lot of love there, or so-called love. Now, while I was inside my mom's belly, there was a lot of bad things already going on between my mom and dad. My dad was very young. He has another whole story on him and how he was raised. And it really does, the way you are raised really does affect who you become. Now, you can choose to affect it to let it affect you negatively or positively. Some people don't know yet that they're doing things negatively because they're gullible or innocent or young. We're not thinking all the way. So my dad definitely didn't think all the way through. Sure, he's thinking that now, but there was a lot of issues even when my mom was pregnant with me, so they had split up and stuff. But anyway, me being born to a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old, there was definitely a lot of love shown to me when I was young, but there's a lot of problems that came about. So when I was born, already by like 8 months old or 4 months old, my mom and dad already split up. They were married, but they already split up. There was infidelity, there was abuse, there was a lot of issues, okay? My mother stayed in there for love for me, for a lot of things, okay? I will tell you, at a very young age, I was getting hit very not nicely. And I think that just started really affecting me. It affected my self-esteem. It affected how I felt, how I reacted to things. It affected the fact that I couldn't answer questions right away because I was shy or scared or timid. And that really, really, really affects a child. Now, I have 3 children. I'm not going to lie and say I never spanked them. I have spanked them. But it's a different kind of spanking, and it's always with consequence and explanation, and it's never the first resort. It's always really after a couple things haven't been, effective. And then I will go ahead and give a little pow. Excuse me, I'm so tired today. Also, I do pow like tap the hands when they're young and stuff because they're learning no, and they're learning not to do things. So those pows I'm not including. So the little hits I was getting weren't little hits. They were very bad hits. They were hits with belts, hits with full force, or not really full force. I'm sure I would have been more messed up because he was a man. But they were definitely not little hits. And I think that really, really affected me on the inside. And it affected my decisions with men in the future, which we'll talk about. It affected my trust with people and just everything. So not only is this a little piece of information for me, but it's also honestly like a warning. You cannot think as a parent that you are not affecting your child if you're doing something physically to them, if you're speaking a certain way to them. That was another thing. I couldn't say certain things. I couldn't express my emotions or like what I was thinking. The thoughts I was thinking, they were wrong. They were not what he was thinking or what he thought was right. So I pretty much started to stop talking to him, especially. And then obviously that affected our relationship, and he was sad about it. But I couldn't talk to someone who was hurting me. And eventually I think my mom realized the effect that it was having with me, and she tried to then step in. But she was also getting abused. So it was very hard for my mom to be strong for us when it was hard for her to be strong for herself. Eventually, she was strong enough, and there was things that did transpire and did make things better, but there was also many things down the road that made her situation bad, which we will go through. But this video is talking about parents. Please, please, please. I'm a very tough parent. I'm a very strict parent. There is no need all the time to be smacking your children, to be hurting your children, to be mean to your children, to call them stupid, dummies, smack them. There's ways. We need to really respect these little people who are developing and who are learning about the world, and we want them to be strong and tough. And I have a middle little one. Excuse me. They tell me she's like my firecracker. And she sure is. She's got such a character, and she's struggling a little bit on focusing in school because she's so independent and smart and all this stuff. And I do tend to yell at her more. But I will tell you, it's needed, so I do. But I also reinforce with love and hugs and explanations. I tell her why I want her to be this way, why she should do this, why that. Ultimately, it's her life. Ultimately, if she decides to be a nuisance in the future as an adult, I mean, you could always prepare your kids, and they will choose the path they would like. The whole way to be a parent is to guide them to their own life with as little negative effect as possible, and letting them explore what they want to do, and not always say you can't do this, or you will never be good at this, or those things need to not happen. If somebody says they want to be an NBA star, amen. Just let them start, practicing basketball. Get them in basketball. Anything that your children want to do, you want to encourage them, you want to help them, you want to guide them, but tearing down their spirit and also letting out your frustration is a very selfish act. It is very selfish. It doesn't really help the situation. And I will say from a personal experience, it just doesn't help the child at all. Now, I'm not saying when my mom used to give me a pow, it affected me so bad. No, my mom was different, and she tried to explain things. And honestly, I kind of deserved those little pows, and I think of them now, and I kind of laugh. But I'm talking about going over the top. I'm talking about smacking real hard, or hitting, or abusing, or verbally and mentally abusing a child, neglecting a child. This has gone into like an abuse video, but it's honestly what my childhood was for the first, like, I don't remember really baby getting hit, but I would say like maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. 5 was really bad. I remember that a lot. Probably because I already had 2 new siblings and there was more frustration in the house. And my siblings are like 1 year apart. So I'm the one not so close, and they're like really close. So I think that added financial stress and just stress in the house. And I really got a lot of it. And that's a little bit of my starting, honestly. Starting with pain, starting with abuse, starting with sadness, really. I was a happy kid, but inside there was a lot of sadness. And I feel like there is a lot of sadness with a lot of children, and we're really affecting them. And now there's a lot more out there affecting our children because of the society we live in. And so I just wanted to get you guys to get to know me a little bit. This is like starting from the beginning. I would like to do a series so you know certain things that I really want to highlight in my life. And I want to just, these are actually things that, even though this was negative, it did make me who I am. It affects me on how I am a parent. So there's a lot of things that I, even though went through so much, am grateful for, because it is making me who I am, and who I am as a mom, and who I am as a person. So everything is meant to be. Everything has a reason or a purpose in your life, and everything will affect you for your future decisions and actions and all that. So I just wanted you guys to get to know me a little more, get to know that I was an abused child. I wasn't sexually abused or anything like that, but I was just physically abused, verbally abused. I also was, had low self-esteem and stuff like that. And that really transpired to my beginning early childhood. And that is honestly the most crucial time in your kid's life. Up to 5 years old, your child becomes who they're going to be for the rest of their life and their character. You should nurture them, and you should really try to help them and guide them to do the right decisions. After 5, yeah, they're getting older. They know more. The punishments could really get, more intense and more meaningful. But under 5 years old, there's really a lot going on in their brain and in their development that we really should not be harming that in a negative way, but really trying to guide them to being a good person. And it's not always about us letting out our frustration. Get a beanbag, punch the crap out of the beanbag. So yeah, that's about me. So happy Monday. It's a Monday today, and it is the start of my week. I'm giving you a vlog today about my childhood and about how abuse really affects a child. If you have any comments, if you want to share something in your life, if you have a similar kind of story upbringing, which is, like I always said the other day in one of my videos, my life is unique, but it's really not. There's so much stuff in my life that is sad to say is common, and it shouldn't be, but it is. And so just know you're not alone. Know that if you've gone through things, that you have a lot of people that probably will be by your side and hear you out and be supportive of you. But also for the parents who can be affecting these children and who can really, really, really make a big impact negatively or positively, but usually it's negatively in these children. So hope you like this video. Don't forget, please, to subscribe. I have a little purple icon on the screen. If you could just tap it, it'll pull up the subscribe button, and you can just go ahead and subscribe. Show some love and share, please. This is gonna be a series of what I have gone through, and we're gonna highlight, like I said, just a couple little things. But it's not to have a pity party. If anybody wants to write things like I've gone through worse and this and that, I'm not disclosing all my information. I'm not disclosing all my pains and sufferings, but I want to be able to touch some people that have gone through what I've gone through, or have also been exposed, or even do it themselves. Sometimes you just need a refocus and regroup kind of video, and to really analyze yourself as a parent or even as the victim. Well, I love you guys. Thank you so much for just watching and for being involved. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in the next video. Later on today, we're going to be doing RJ's upping his programming. So we do have another video coming for you guys today, and maybe a couple more by the end of the day. So I really, really love interacting with you guys and allowing you guys to get into my life. May your heart smile.